Welcome to Season 2 of Smart Remarks. I'm your host, Mark Impress Preston. I know you're ready for some football. So without further ado, Season 2, we're going to get this thing kicked off. Okay, first let's quickly break down the AFC. In the AFC East, there are no teams except the Patriots, so I expect the Patriots to win that division quite handily. In the AFC West, you have Peyton Manning, who's still throwing touchdowns as we speak for the Denver Broncos. And Andy Reid and Alex Smith make a good coach-quarterback combination, in my opinion. The Chiefs have a lot of Pro Bowl talent all over the roster. So I think the Kansas City Chiefs will be a wild card team. In the AFC South, while the Colts will be pretty good on offense, I think they have a lot of good skill players. Reggie Wayne, Darius Hayward-Bay, Ahmad Bradshaw, Coby Fleener, Andrew Luck being the quarterback. They're not going to beat the Texans out to win that division. And I don't even think really the Colts make the playoffs. They probably miss it by a game or so. And in the AFC North, while the Steelers, Ravens, and Bengals are all strong teams, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I think the Bengals shock a lot of people this year and take that next step. They win the division and may make some noise in the playoffs as well. I'm not sure if the Steelers' offensive line, who's young and talented, is quite up to snuff offensively all around to be able to take this team into the playoffs. So that leaves the defending champion Ravens. I think they will find a way to recover from their Week 1 debacle and get into the playoffs as a wild card team. Now, as far as who I think comes out of the AFC, I'm big on the Broncos, but I think they need home field advantage in order to get it done. And really, Peyton Manning has always shown bright in the regular season, but come up short in the playoffs, and I don't think this year is any different. And I really don't like Matt Schaub a whole lot, but I'm going to put faith in that Houston Texans defense, in the Houston Texans running game with Andre Johnson, and I think someone else on the Texans receiving core has to step up and emerge as a playmaker for them in order to get it done. But I'm going to make my pick for the Houston Texans to come out of the AFC and represent them in the Super Bowl. And now to break down what's going to happen in the NFC, let's start off with the very tough defensive NFC West. I think Seattle, who everyone jumped on that bandwagon last year, I think they actually don't win the division once again this year. I think the 49ers will actually pull that one out this year. Now, moving on to the NFC North, I still think the wrong guy is quarterbacking for the Minnesota Vikings. And although I think they are even more talented this year than last year, I don't see the Vikings making the playoffs. But Aaron Rodgers, somehow, because he is the best quarterback in football, will find a way to win that division and get into the playoffs. Moving on to the NFC South, I think the Bucs are very good defensively. And even though I have nothing against Josh Freeman, I just don't see how he's going to be able to get it done for this team this year. I think all the money Tampa Bay spent in the last couple of years, a lot of fans are going to be disappointed down there. Now, Sean Payton is back head coaching for the Saints, and I think even though they don't really have much of a defense, somehow they will outscore everybody and figure out some way to get into the playoffs and make some noise from a wild card position. And the Falcons, I think, win the division. Matt Ryan finally got a playoff win. Tremendous quarterback. They got Tony Gonzalez coming back. Their receiving core is 3 deep. Added Steven Jackson. Now, they don't have much of a defense, but they might get home field advantage again. That's a realistic possibility for that team, and they'll be pretty dangerous in Atlanta if teams have to come there to play them in the playoffs. Now, the NFC East is going to come down to probably the last week of the season, with Washington being much improved on defense, getting some guys back healthy. Arakpo's back. RG3 is going to start the season. The Giants have Victor Cruz contract situation handled. They're always a threat, making a run late in the year, but somehow, some way, even though I don't trust Tony Romo further than I can throw him, the Cowboys, I think, have the most talented roster in the NFC East, both offensively and defensively. And somehow, they have a reversal of fortune and make the playoffs as the NFC East winner. Now, I think when it comes down to the playoffs, between the Cowboys, Falcons, Saints, 49ers, Seahawks, and Packers, that the Atlanta Falcons will not only emerge victorious from the NFC, but they will also be your Super Bowl winner over the Houston Texans. Okay, now for some smart picks. Once again, I'm challenging the entire nation in my ESPN Pigskin Pick'em League, offering up $200 for whoever is the best prognosticator of football. Last year, I took on the world. I won. Once again, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. And I'm going to offer a couple of picks this week on games that I find intriguing. Starting with the Falcons going to New Orleans. Now, the Falcons are my Super Bowl pick, so I'm going to go with them to win a very tough, high-scoring game in New Orleans. Then you have San Francisco and Green Bay. Now, this is going to be a tough one for the 49ers. They have some injuries, Michael Crabtree. The Packers have some injuries to their offensive line, but Colin Kaepernick, I think, is going to once again torch this even more mediocre Green Bay defense. So look for the 49ers to win this one. And even though I have the Dallas Cowboys winning the division, I don't think they will look that impressive against the Giants on Sunday night. I think Eli Manning and Victor Cruz and the Giants, they're going to show out on the Cowboys. I'd like to thank everyone for watching our 2013-2014 NFL season preview show here on Smart Remarks. There are a lot of great games on Sunday and Monday. So we're going to take a knee here and see you next week.